So Stephen, as an MSP, we advise our clients on lifecycle management. We help them purchase computers. We maintain those computers throughout their lifecycle. Where my expertise ends, though, is when a client comes to us and says, well, how do we dispose of this? Right? I say we have a partner, and I've always been curious what happens after I refer you guys in.
Right. So, so just to give a little bit of background here, so just again, TERRA is the Electronics Reuse and Recycling Alliance. So it's an acronym. And what we do is we connect, companies like yourself, MSPs, just any organization that's looking for kind of that final end of life management of their IT assets, make sure they get to the right place. You just got to make sure that you kind of think about from a business standpoint that you want to be a good corporate citizen. You want to protect your customers. You want to protect your employees. Make sure that material goes to the right place. A certified recycler who's either earned an R2 certification or an e-steward certification. Those are the two things you're going to be looking for. And then that the material that you just used is not going to end up in a landfill. It's going to be refurbished and reused if possible. The data is going to be destroyed for certain. You're going to receive a certificate of destruction, a certificate of recycling. So you're going to have that peace of mind again that your information has been secured. And for a business, once that has been kind of handled, once you passed along that chain of custody to that certified recycler, the liability is off your hands. So that's huge for your.
Excellent. And thanks for going over that. What's the risk in trying to handle it yourself, right? Instead of bringing you guys in, I try to handle it myself.
Well, the risk is, and then this is not uncommon because there's not a lot of people that understand the value of certified recycling. It's there, but it's not really high on people's priorities list. What people end up doing is taking a hard drive out to their, out to the woods, out to the farm, and trying to stick a couple of 12-gauge shotgun shells into it. Well, that's really not effective. You're potentially polluting the environment. But the other bit is, first and critical is if you don't destroy this properly, you're putting your business at risk because of the data leakage. You don't want a data security breach. So making sure that stuff is wiped is imperative. And it's not just you think about it, your physical drive. That's in your laptop, that's in your desktop. There's also memory chips that are inside your printers. So there are other that are inside your copiers. If that material gets out, potentially puts companies at huge risk. And the consumer protection that's on customer data is enormous. You could be fined up to $1,000 per record that gets loose. So if you're an organization such as a bank or anybody that handles a high volume, high numbers of clients, you lose a device, you've got millions of records on there, you could be out millions of dollars. I mean, just in the last 6 months, not even. JP Morgan, it was JP Morgan, one of the major banks or financial institutions in New York. They had a breach, cost them $24 million. And that's not uncommon.
Yeah, we have clients who bank with Morgan Stanley, and they have had to begin filling out certifications that yes, we are compliant. We do have the necessary steps in place to handle that, right? So
it's just important, and it's just simple. It's just when you find a recycler that's certified, that's earned R2, that's earned e-stewards or both, and you're going to be you're going to be safe.
We stress proactively replacing devices, right? That way, not only are you not dealing with the crash and the immediate need for a new computer, but also you can get that credit back for giving knowledge, right? So
yes, and then absolutely, and then you're also again something also for these organizations to consider is maybe setting aside a portion of those devices that they're returning, the laptops, the tablets, the desktops, made to a certified recycler that's involved with a digital inclusion program. Kind of giving those devices a second life in the hands of people that could really use them is something that's a great way for one of your clients or any organization to really kind of demonstrate their corporate citizenship, to get involved with the local community and help out where they can.
Sure, this is good info. I never knew what happened to the devices actually after they left our client's door for the last time. So that's good to know.
Well, so then the final bit, we talked a lot about refurbishment, and then the rest of it is just kind of scrap. So these machines, once they've kind of reached it, but there's a lot of great material inside, a desktop. You've got the metal casing, you've got this, and then the pieces can be actually yanked out. So you've got not in addition to just drives, you've got circuit boards and other things that could potentially be reused. There's copper in there, there's platinum in there, there's some good stuff in there, gold in the CPUs. So that material can be reclaimed, gets back into the circular economy. One thing that's really, getting to be a little bit rare, of course, are the rare earth elements, but even more so, like the neodymium, the magnets that are inside kind of your traditional drives. Kind of having a domestic source for those by recycling what we've already purchased from overseas is a great way to have some security for our economy, because we're not always relying on getting these materials from, third world countries that are harvesting them in really, really horrific ways, or just, kind of getting after new virgin materials when you don't need to. So, getting them back into the supply chain here, domestically is really important.
Sure. That's good stuff, man.
And it's simple. I mean, there's certified recyclers all over the country. There's roughly 900 or so here just in North America that have earned that R2 or E-Stewards certification. So you're not that far from one. They are the ones that on a monthly basis, they literally are checked out. Their books are reviewed. So, and they have to, whatever they take in, they don't necessarily process 100% of the material they get. They downstream it to other partners because nobody can do all of it.
Sure.
But the people that they downstream that to also have to be certified. So, it's a chain of responsibility. It's a chain of accountability that when you're dealing with a certified recycler, you can feel confident that you're dealing with some reputable people. If material is improperly handled, it can be a serious danger to human health.
Sure.
I mean, right now, e-waste is only 2% of our waste stream. It's our fastest growing waste stream, but it's accounting for 70% of the heavy metals and toxic metals and cancer-causing agents that we're putting into our waste stream. Wow. And if that material, again, is not being forced to go to a place where it's going to be reclaimed, it's going to a place where we're going to be eating it and drinking it later.
Sure. Interesting. Yeah, and those are things that you don't think about as you're disposing of.
Yeah, and most people don't. And then the other bit is do it quickly. That's my last kind of soapbox is don't let those devices just sit in the closet. Don't put them in the garage. Don't put them in your desk drawer. When you're done with it, move on, send it in, get it. Because again, it could be, if it's a personal consumer device, it could be something that somebody else can use. But if it sits in your closet for another 2 years, no, it's not going to be. Sure. So, try to get try to maximize the life as much as possible, and then make sure that material gets back, recycled into the supply chain.
Sure. Yeah, we always talk about keeping spares.
And your data safe. Same thing with your you think about your personal phone, that you got that iPhone 4 that you got sitting in your closet right now. Well, it still has your banking information. You were still using that to do all that stuff. You don't want that to get out. You don't want it in a couple of years from now, you don't sit there and go, I still have this thing, and just throw it in the trash, because now that's pollution that's never going away.
Right. Yeah. And guilty as charged on that one as well.
Well, then I'll give you a hint. So to TERRA, we have a mail-in recycling program that's available in the US and Canada. It's donewithit.org. You can go there, you can get a recycling package, and you can send in your material to a certified recycler. Your data is going to get destroyed. If it's refurbishable, it will be. If it's at end of life, it will be stripped down, recycled, and the material will go back into the supply chain. Great.
That's good to know. I've never known, like I said, what happens when it leaves the door for the last time. So that's interesting.
It's one man's trash is another man's treasure.
That's great. Thanks for joining us, Stephen. We appreciate the information.
Thank you, Scott.